What's up, fam? Hope y'all doing well. Today I want to talk to you about a couple of things that we have encountered on the homestead, right? You know, we have purchased some land, we've been living off grid, and we officially hit our 1 year at the end of July. It's the beginning of August. And we are official off grid for 1 year. So kudos to Gigi, Lil Gigi, and Eco for this accomplishment. We're happy to hit this monument. Yeah. So we're excited about that. But I want to talk to you today about some things you need to know when you are living off grid, no matter whether you are or you're living remotely. And this is really kind of dedicated not to the people necessarily in the city, but this is dedicated to the people who feel like they are in what we call a secluded area, right? If you are, as I should say, in a area where you feel like you have some sense of seclusion, we have 20 acres that we purchased. Of course, we're not like in the very rear of the 20 acres. We can at a certain angle see the road, but it's not direct visible. We have cleared a lot of land where you can see that there is establishment. That wasn't the goal in the beginning, but we found out in our efforts in trying to bring in things like the cabin. We have deliveries where they need to pick up the tractor. We need to do a lot of different things where it involves a large trailer or heavy equipment for the septic tank, for the well. We had to broaden and widen and also take out some of the curves in getting back here. So there is some visibility. We also have solar panel lights and it's kind of a busy dirt road, but it's not very busy. We're still in the woods. We're in the middle of the woods. We're in the center of the woods. And these are some of the things that we encounter. One thing, through our cameras, we have many cameras on the homestead, and with these cameras we are able to see, we do get notification when anyone enters into the property, and we get those notifications on our cell phone. We've seen law enforcement come back here when we're not here. We've seen neighbors. We've seen, of course, stray dogs, other people's dogs, and different things like that. But it's amazing what people will do. And a lot of people, I think it's just curiosity. I don't think it's no harm or anything like that, but I think it's curiosity. But this thing that just happened this week, I'm really teed off about it. I'm really pissed off about it. And I really wanted to see what I could do about it legally. But also, I want to also defend myself. So I want to give y'all a heads up. You know, like people that's curious, they'll use several tactics. Like for instance, we've had people to break down the road. They probably were closer to another establishment, but they came down here and then they walked to the property. Even though we got signs, we got everything that do not enter, you're being monitored, do not cross the premises, no trespassing, all of that, they still do it. So just be aware that you can hang as many signs, you can put up as many fences as you want to. People will still, curiosity will still draw people in, especially if there hasn't been there has been no activity whatsoever. And I don't know, I looked in the records, I don't see any time where there were anything that was built back here. So I'm quite sure you got a lot of people that grew up, a lot of people, neighbors told me they grew up in this area where they played in these woods and a lot of different things like that. So for various reasons, they have wanted to know what's going on here. We've seen times where people rolled up on UTVs, they saw smoke, we were burning, we were clearing the land. Some people say, hey, you know, they yelled out before they entered. Some people just completely just came back here and entered. They heard the generators going. As you can hear the background, this is Florida. It is consistently hot during our summer months, and it's been 100 plus, high 90s degrees out here. And so we have to run our generators whenever we're here and present. And sometimes we also have to come on, and we all have various schedules. So we all here at different times. But needless to say, we have had several occasions where people did revisit after they came back. People, you could easily leave a note on the mailbox. You could also send some mail here asking, can you come by and visit? But why in the world do you want to just show up? Understand, a lot of people that come from the cities and the towns, they want that personal space. They don't want that unannounced entry. I don't get it. And I've tried to communicate it the best way I can, but try to be friendly, because it's not that we want to be so isolated that we don't want to deal with anyone. But you got to understand, we want this freedom. We want our dogs to roam. We want our kids to have fun. We really want to have that true sense of freedom, right? If for whatever reason, sometimes we may be practicing our arms, different things like that. We want to make sure, number one, you're safe, and this is a safe environment for us too at the same time. So, but this particular situation that happened this week, and I don't know, this particular situation really infuriated me. I felt almost like when someone broke into my apartment. I felt violated. I felt in some ways helpless. And then I felt in a way where I just felt like this wasn't real and this wasn't right. We do a lot of legislation, we do a lot of different things. But I did some research after this happened. So here I am. It's night. It's probably about around 10, 11 o'clock at night. And I'm laying in the RV looking out the window, and I see this flash of light flies by. I thought it was a shooting star, and I was like, oh man, this is a shooting star, And I kept looking, so I just kept looking outside. The sky was clear, the moon was full. And I looked again, and I looked above the horizon of the trees, because we kind of down on the slope, and then the trees kind of sit up here. And just coming, like the RV sits here, just coming above the trees. At first I thought it was an airplane, right? Because they have those flashing lights. But I was like, man, that airplane is mighty low. And I'm looking, and it's a red light and a green light. I'm like, red light, green light, where have I seen that before? And I'm looking above the trees, and it comes down just up on the clearing. We're surrounded by pine trees. Just on the edge of the pine trees, it starts to dip down. And I'm looking at it, and I'm seeing it, right? And I'm like, this is a drone. And it hovered in front of the RV. It went around the front of the RV. It went around to the side, and we got various pathways and various roads. So it went down some roads and some different stuff like that, right? And I'm like, I cannot believe somebody got a drone out here. So I immediately went, grabbed my clothes, put on my clothes, and I said, it can't be too far. And so I got in my truck, and I went to the main road, and I didn't see nothing to the right. I looked to the left. I did see down the road there was a vehicle. And so I just immediately went to kind of see, was this the individual? And they took off. And they rode and they rode. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to chase them or anything. But I realized our privacy was being obstructed. We were being violated. And I was thinking, man. So I went and I found out it's against the law to shoot them down if you see one. It's not against the law for them to hover and to fly over your home. But it is against the law for those to be out of eyesight, right? But how can you theoretically say that you didn't see that, right? So your airspace, which I thought years ago that above you and below you, if there's no previous rights, you have those rights. I get it, there's airspace rights and all that kind of stuff. But for these drones can get at eye level. They can come in and look and do whatever. So people, if you're living off grid, you're out in the boonies and you think you're by yourself, be aware that some people are not being respectful, and understand that this is a clear violation, and this is something that we need to do something about. Because I also I read that law enforcement has the right, and this may be a new form in some cases, on how they monitor neighborhoods, how they monitor rural areas. This is like their law enforcement, like riding through the road. But my private property is my private property. This almost like if I'm in a neighborhood, you come down my driveway and come in my garage, and you look in my garage and you bag out. This is what it's like to me. I get it for safety, I get it for this, I get it for that, but this is really invading privacy. And there should be something and more limitations and more restrictions on what people can do and what they can't do with drones. I remember we were at a beach here in Florida, and I never forget it. It's a beach I love. It's around Rosemary, right off of 98 on the beautiful, beautiful Gulf Coast of Florida. And I remember one time I was out at the beach. We were all on the beach, chilling, having fun, and I was just sitting in my chair, nice, relaxed chair, and there was a drone that was going around, almost harassing people on the beach. It would just come in front of you, almost like a bug or a hummingbird, and it just sit there and it just kind of look at you, and then it go down to one person to the next person, and then it's just going around just looking at people. And I was thinking, man, that is so disrespectful. And there was some cottages along the shoreline, along the beach line behind the beach, and I know they came from one of those cottages. It's probably like an Airbnb. But it's just, when you think about the privacy and you think about humans, and I get photography. I used to be a photographer for years, well over a decade. And I understand that sometimes photographers and the creativity, sometimes we avoid. I now understand, like when you go to certain areas where it said no trespassing, but you know that's a beautiful shot. You know that's an excellent photo shoot scene, and you violate. And now I guess this is what's happening to me in a reciprocal type, retroactive fashion. But it really, really, really threw me off by seeing this happen. And I hate that it had to happen. I will be alert. I will be intentional with seeing if this happens a little bit more frequently. I'm told there's no way you can have, well, there are devices out there where you can send like signal blockers, radio frequency blockers, but in many states it's against the law. So y'all tell me what you think about this. Whether you're in the neighborhood, wherever you are, there should be restrictions on what people can and what they can't do with drones. You know, to me that was very disrespectful. That was very invasive, and it really left me on the defense. It really left me to the part where it just didn't sit well with me, and it led me to the part where I was like, man, I got to be a little bit more vigilant, pay attention, which I always do. And every time when we're violated, whether we was in the city, our previous place, it's always at night. It's always at night. Never see the drone during the day. It's always at night. So y'all beware, be very observant in your situations. It's more than just animals, but those two-legged animals, man, they will find a way. They will find a path where instead of coming to the driveway, instead of honking the horn or doing something, they'll find a way to come up through your pathway, come from another direction, and they'll find ways to just be nosy and invade your privacy. And some people are idle. They just looking for something to do. And I just hate to give them something to do or something not to do. And just because I'm trying to protect my family, I didn't know that you were there. You know, I don't know your intentions. And because, like my neighbor previously, because you're doing it in the middle of the night, because you're avoiding the security lights, because you're doing all these different things, I have to be aware, and I have to be on the defensive to make sure the offense, I should say. I don't know, offense, defense, I don't know. I'm struggling, y'all. I've been struggling with this concussion a lot, and it's really weighing down on me. I pray no one has to go through any of this. And really, if you're on the fence about doing something hazardous, sports-wise or whatever, I love sports. I love to watch it, but I don't love it that much for people to lose their health for it. Or if you're doing something dangerous, wear your protective gear and be vigilant what you're doing. But I just want to share that with you real briefly and just get your thoughts. What do y'all think about the drone? Y'all leave some comment below, and if you don't mind, hit that like. You hung around this long, go ahead and hit the like, hit subscribe. So y'all take care and be well, and don't forget to keep on growing. Grow!